30 secret winter wonders you've never heard of. Winter transforms the world into a magical wonderland, but these 30 destinations go beyond the ordinary. From the northern lights dancing over remote villages to medieval towns blanketed in snow, these are the winter wonders that most travelers never discover. Picture this: a frozen lake reflecting the Aurora Borealis, medieval villages transformed into snow-covered fairy tales, ice caves glowing in electric blue, mountain peaks piercing through clouds of frost. These aren't scenes from a fantasy movie. These are real places, hidden winter wonders that most travelers never discover. And today, we're revealing 30 of the most magical winter destinations you've never heard of. From the Arctic Circle to the Alps, from remote Scandinavian villages to Eastern European gems, winter transforms these places into something extraordinary, something that seems almost too beautiful to be real. But they are real, and they're waiting for you to discover them. If you love discovering the world's most breathtaking destinations, subscribe to Travel Earth Adventures and hit that notification bell. We're taking you to places that will change the way you see winter forever. Now, let's begin our journey through 30 secret winter wonders. Lapland, Finland, is where winter magic comes alive. Located in the Finnish Arctic, this region offers experiences that exist nowhere else on Earth. The northern lights, or Aurora Borealis, paint the sky in waves of green, purple, and pink from September through March. But a winter, when the nights are longest and darkest, offers the best viewing opportunities. The village of Rovaniemi sits right on the Arctic Circle and is known as the official home of Santa Claus. But beyond the tourist attractions lies the real magic. Glass igloos dot the landscape, allowing visitors to watch the northern lights from the warmth of their beds. The snow here reaches depths of several feet, creating a pristine white landscape. Zermatt, Switzerland, rests at the base of the iconic Matterhorn, one of the most photographed mountains in the world. In winter, this car-free alpine village becomes a snow-covered paradise. The Matterhorn rises 14,692 feet into the sky, its pyramid shape dominating the landscape. When snow covers its slopes and the morning sun hits its peak, the mountain glows pink and orange. The village maintains its traditional Swiss character with wooden chalets and narrow streets. Horse-drawn sleighs transport visitors through town, their bells jingling in the crisp mountain air. The surrounding ski slopes offer some of the highest altitude skiing in Europe, with runs extending up to 12,000 feet. Grindelwald, Switzerland, known as the Glacier Village, sits in the Bernese Oberland surrounded by the dramatic north faces of the Eiger, Montre, and Jungfrau Mountains. The village offers access to the Ice Palace, a series of tunnels and rooms carved directly into the glacier, featuring ice sculptures that glisten in the blue light. Hallstatt, Austria, looks like it was designed by a fairy tale illustrator. This lakeside village, with its pastel-colored houses reflected in the crystal-clear Hallstatter Sea, becomes even more enchanting under winter snow. The village dates back over 7,000 years and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. During winter, Hallstatt transforms into a Christmas wonderland. The small market square hosts a traditional Christmas market where wooden chalets sell handcrafted ornaments and hot mulled wine. The smoke from wooden stoves curls into the cold air, carrying the scent of roasted chestnuts and gingerbread. Tromsø, Norway, located 217 miles north of the Arctic Circle, is one of the best places on Earth to experience the polar night and witness the northern lights. From late November to mid-January, the sun never rises above the horizon, creating a perpetual twilight that bathes everything in shades of blue and purple. Despite the darkness, Tromsø is vibrant and alive. The Arctic Cathedral, with its distinctive triangular shape and massive stained glass window, becomes even more striking against the winter sky. Dog sledding tours take visitors across frozen landscapes, while whale-watching tours offer the chance to see orcas and humpback whales. Colmar, France, in the Alsace region, is a medieval town that looks like it stepped out of a Brothers Grimm story. Half-timbered houses in vibrant colors line cobblestone streets and canals. In winter, the town becomes one of France's most magical Christmas destinations. Five different Christmas markets transform Colmar into a winter wonderland. The smell of vin chaude, hot-spiced wine fills the air. Local craftsmen sell traditional Alsatian decorations, wooden toys, and handmade pottery. Snow often covers the colorful rooftops, creating a scene so picturesque it barely seems real. Rothenburg ob der Tauber, Germany, is a perfectly preserved medieval town that seems frozen in time. Surrounded by intact city walls from the 14th century, Rothenburg maintains its historic character better than almost any other German town. In winter, especially during the Christmas season, it becomes magical. The Reiterles Markt, Rothenburg's Christmas market, is one of the most authentic in Germany. The Marktplatz, or market square, fills with wooden stalls selling traditional crafts, ornaments, and seasonal treats. The town's famous Christmas store, Kethe Wohlfahrt, operates year-round but truly shines during winter. Jökulsárlón, Iceland, is a glacial lagoon filled with icebergs that have broken off from Breiðamerkurjökull Glacier. In winter, this otherworldly landscape becomes even more dramatic. The icebergs, some as large as houses, float in the dark blue water, their surfaces sculpted by wind and water into fantastic shapes. Nearby, the Diamond Beach gets its name from ice chunks that wash ashore and glisten like diamonds on black volcanic sand. In winter, the contrast between the white ice, black sand, and dark ocean creates scenes of stark beauty. The northern lights often appear here, their green curtains dancing above the ice-filled lagoon. Did you know? Winter holds some fascinating secrets. Finland has more saunas than cars, with over 3 million saunas for a population of 5.5 million people. During winter, Finns combine their sauna sessions with rolling in the snow or jumping into frozen lakes, a practice believed to boost circulation and immunity. And speaking of extreme cold, the village of Oymyakon in Russia is the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth, with winter temperatures dropping to minus 96 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet people live there year-round. Here's something magical. Snowflakes are not perfectly symmetrical. While they often have 6 sides, no 2 snowflakes are exactly alike, and they're almost never perfectly symmetrical. Each one is a unique crystal formation. Finally, the Antarctic is technically a desert. Despite being covered in ice, it receives less than 2 inches of precipitation per year, making it the driest place on Earth. Kirkjufell, Iceland, is perhaps the most photographed mountain in Iceland. Rising 1,519 feet on the north coast of the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, its distinctive cone shape makes it instantly recognizable. In winter, when snow covers its slopes and the northern lights appear above it, Kirkjufell becomes the subject of some of the most stunning photographs in the world. Bled, Slovenia, centers around a glacial lake with a small island in the middle. On that island sits a church with a bell tower that rises above the trees. In winter, when snow covers the surrounding Julian Alps and the medieval Bled castle perched on a cliff above the lake, the scene becomes impossibly romantic. Reine, Norway, in the Lofoten Islands, is often called the most beautiful village in Norway. Traditional red fishermen's cabins called rorbuer line the waterfront against a backdrop of dramatic mountain peaks that rise straight from the sea. In winter, the village is dusted with snow, and the peaks glow pink during the brief hours of daylight. Český Krumlov, Czech Republic, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site with a historic center that appears unchanged since the 18th century. The Vltava River makes a horseshoe bend around the old town, dominated by a castle complex that is the second largest in the Czech Republic. Under winter snow, with smoke rising from chimneys and the castle illuminated against the night sky, Český Krumlov looks medieval. Giethoorn, Netherlands, is known as the Venice of the North. This village has no roads in its old center, only canals and footpaths. Transportation is by boat or by skating on the frozen canals in winter. When the canals freeze solid, locals and visitors lace up their skates and glide past thatched roof farmhouses that date back centuries. Plitvice Lakes, Croatia, is famous for its 16 terraced lakes connected by waterfalls. While the park is beautiful year-round, winter transforms it into a frozen wonderland. The waterfalls partially freeze, creating massive ice formations. The turquoise lakes reflect the snow-covered forests, and wooden walkways wind through landscapes that look like they belong in Narnia. Abisko, Sweden, is home to one of the world's best locations for viewing the northern lights. The Abisko Sky Station sits in what scientists call the blue hole of Abisko, an area where clouds are less frequent due to unique weather patterns. This means clearer skies and better aurora viewing than almost anywhere else. Tallinn, Estonia's capital, has one of the best preserved medieval old towns in Europe. Its Gothic spires, cobblestone streets, and intact city walls create an atmosphere of ancient mystery. The Christmas market in Town Hall Square is one of Northern Europe's most authentic, and winter snow adds to the medieval atmosphere. Lake Baikal, Russia, is the world's deepest and oldest lake, containing 20% of the world's fresh water. In winter, it freezes to depths of several feet, creating a vast ice surface that extends to the horizon. The ice forms remarkable patterns, including perfectly clear sections where you can see hundreds of feet down into the depths. Hallstatt's Dachstein ice cave, also in Austria, features ice formations that have existed for thousands of years. Visitors walk through tunnels carved into the glacier, surrounded by ice walls and formations. In winter, the entrance to the cave becomes an ice palace, with massive icicles and frozen waterfalls. Shirakawa-go, Japan, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its traditional Gassho-zukuri farmhouses, some of which are over 250 years old. These houses have steep thatched roofs designed to withstand heavy snowfall. In winter, the village receives enormous amounts of snow, and the illumination events when the village is lit up at night create magical scenes. Harbin, China, hosts the world's largest ice and snow festival. Enormous ice sculptures, entire buildings made of ice blocks lit from within by colored lights, transform the city into a frozen fantasy land. Sculptors create replicas of famous buildings, mythical creatures, and abstract art, all carved from ice harvested from the nearby Songhua River. Bruges, Belgium, is a medieval city crossed by canals and lined with historic buildings. In winter, especially during the Christmas season, the city becomes incredibly atmospheric. The Markt, or Market Square, hosts one of Europe's most charming Christmas markets, with an ice skating rink at its center. Yellowstone National Park in winter is almost unrecognizable from its summer persona. The geothermal features become even more dramatic as steam rises from hot springs and geysers into the freezing air. Bison covered in frost wander across snow-covered plains. Ice forms fantastic sculptures around the edges of hot pools. Naerøyfjord, Norway, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is one of the world's most spectacular fjords. In winter, snow covers the steep mountains that rise on both sides of the narrow fjord. Waterfalls freeze into columns of ice. The few houses scattered along the shore look like they belong in a fantasy novel, with smoke curling from chimneys into the cold air. Svalbard, Norway, is an archipelago in the Arctic Ocean, closer to the North Pole than to mainland Norway. It experiences polar night from November to February, when the sun never rises. During this time, the Aurora Borealis appears regularly, and the landscape of glaciers, mountains, and frozen seas creates an otherworldly environment. Mont Saint-Michel, France, is an island commune topped by a medieval abbey. In winter, when tourism drops and occasional snow dusts the buildings, visitors can experience this remarkable place in relative solitude. The tide still rises and falls dramatically, and during winter storms, waves crash against the island in spectacular displays. Dolomites, Italy, offer some of the most dramatic mountain scenery in the world. In winter, these jagged limestone peaks are covered in snow, creating stunning contrast between dark rock faces and white snow. Ski resorts connect through some of the world's best skiing, but the region also offers countless opportunities for snowshoeing, winter hiking, and simply admiring the views. Snæfellsnes Peninsula, Iceland, is called Iceland in miniature because it contains so many of the country's most iconic landscapes in one relatively small area. In winter, the peninsula becomes especially dramatic. The Snæfellsjökull glacier-capped volcano dominates the landscape, while black beaches, lava fields, and small fishing villages add to the otherworldly atmosphere. Alesund, Norway, is an Art Nouveau town on the west coast of Norway. After a devastating fire in 1904, the town was rebuilt in the fashionable Art Nouveau style. In winter, when snow covers the colorful buildings and the surrounding mountains, Alesund becomes incredibly photogenic. The town sits across several islands connected by bridges and tunnels. These 30 winter wonders represent some of the most magical places on Earth when snow falls and temperatures drop. From the Aurora Borealis dancing over Arctic landscapes to medieval villages transformed into Christmas wonderlands, from frozen waterfalls to ice caves, winter reveals a different side of our planet, a side that many travelers never see because they stay home when it's cold. But those who venture out into winter's embrace discover something extraordinary. They find that cold weather creates conditions for some of nature's most stunning displays. They discover that historic towns become even more atmospheric under snow. They learn that some of Earth's most remote and beautiful places are at their best when most tourists stay away. Winter travel isn't about escaping the cold. It's about embracing it, about discovering what magic happens when water freezes, when snow blankets the landscape, when the night sky comes alive with the northern lights. It's about finding those secret places that most people never see because they're hidden under winter's white cloak. If these 30 secret winter wonders have inspired you to explore the world during the coldest season, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Travel Earth Adventures. Share your winter travel dreams in the comments below. Which of these destinations would you most like to visit? Have you been to any of these places in winter? Let us know your experiences. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss our next adventure. Thank you for traveling with us, and remember, winter is not a season to hide from, but a wonderland to explore. Until next time, keep discovering.